What's up, everybody? Welcome to week 14 of the HXC Blizzard podcast now. How's everyone doing? I'm your host, Sophist, or Kyle. That's my dog sneezing in the background, if you didn't hear that. I'm here, as always, with Zista. What's up?
How's it going? Getting prepared for Kingdom Hearts. Got my Kingdom Hearts hoodie on.
So, we're all away. We're all away, and now we're all back. And I mean everyone. We're here again with Squishy. What's up, Squishy? How goes everything?
Not much this week. We took the week off last week, but, just gonna talk about how mad the internet is this week, I'm sure.
Listen, I'm from the internet, and I don't appreciate you guys taking the week off last week. I like your content, and how dare you take a week off?
So, we have an angry fan this week who's here to voice his comments live on the show.
This is ridiculous. Just
sounds.
Do you know why he's so mad? He's so mad because I stole his yellow dress. That's why he's mad.
That's why.
One of these days,
Enraged.
I will take that back, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, you do.
You want to make arrangements right now? You want to make some kind of bet, Shaftnet? Me versus you?
No.
Something? Loser wear the yellow dress at BlizzCon?
I don't even want to see that.
I'm intrigued to know what you would bet against me here, but
He said he would wear it if he lived
yeah,
there.
no, I know. I'm intrigued to know what he's saying he would bet in case that. I mean, come on, let's be honest. This is gonna lose. So what does he think that he could win and not wear this dress?
Let's see who could stay awake longer in a stream.
No, not doing that one. That was you. I don't even care.
What if we get some of the chat room people to tweet into us, and if somebody can come up with something, maybe we can make some arrangements.
I've already reserved my yellow dress wearing for getting my item in Blizzard. I can't make amendments to this, otherwise I'll never get my item.
Well, let's ask someone that's here normally. Indy, what's this competition gonna be?
Well, it would have to be something not to give him an unfair advantage for Zista, because I think all of us would much rather see him forced to wear Shaftnet's yellow dress at BlizzCon. I would actually probably end up showing up at BlizzCon regardless if that were to happen.
Oh man, you do a really good collective internet voice, Shaftnet. I don't know if there's anyone who ever told you that.
I practice in the mirror 2 hours a day every morning when I wake up. So. I got it down.
The voice of the internet.
So, it's a get off my lawn! This is my internet lawn!
It's a mix of the internet and old people. That's really where that came from.
Oh man! All right, so we got kind of a crap ton of stuff to talk about this week since we didn't talk about anything last week. We got Warcraft stuff. We got our lore thing. Some stuff happened today, just now. A big charity event. Hearthstone things. We got a new segment we're going to try out in Hearthstone. We'd want to see what you guys think about. And even some more Diablo 3 news. So we'll just jump right into our normal starting issue. I guess. It's kind of an issue for us. It's lore, so we don't know much about it. What do we got this week? We got Dire Maul this week. If you've never heard this, Shaftnet, we pick an instance every week. And I've
followed a couple episodes.
Yeah, so we basically talk up the lore about these things because basically none of us know anything about the lore, and so it gives us a reason to figure it out.
But you're also doing an order every week, so that way the one that I've been waiting to get to doesn't happen for like months.
Shaftnet is a huge fan of the lore behind instances. I listened to his rant one night on Legendary, so I think we definitely need to have Shaftnet back for when we start doing some of the Burning Crusade stuff.
I was gonna say, I'm at a little bit of a disadvantage. I started about a month or two before Burning Crusade, so Dire Maul is one of those instances that I know what's going on there, but I haven't researched, and I'm not completely 100% up to date on everything that was going on in there. I remember I liked it. I liked the format of it. I liked the way that it felt going in, but it was one of those instances that I don't know as much about to something, say, like maybe Dead Mines or even anything post Burning Crusade.
Okay, yeah. So, well, a lot of us. Hellfire. Oh yeah. Well, that's gonna be a fun one. A lot of Burning Crusade stuff is where they really start getting a lot like later into, because a lot of these have been like set up. Like some of them, like RFC. Well, RFC was kind of deep, but Scarlet Monastery was kind of just. Oh
the main
yeah,
thing
there's
is,
some.
The main thing is we always find awesome love stories between all the bosses in every instance. Like Lord Overheat and what was the other, Hogger, I think? Lord Overheat and Hogger. Yeah, those two.
Well,
They're actually
fiery
making
null
up
babies.
The Alliance don't know that, but we found it.
You even created a love child for them.
Their love story is comparable to, say, like Aladdin and Jasmine, or Kiggles singing Aladdin and Jasmine's parts, or
Kiggles and
Shaft
Kiggles.
and Ashley singing
Just
Aladdin.
wait till Black Temple. Just wait till Black Temple. Whenever that happens.
Oh yeah, at some point. All right, let's get into this. So Dire Maul, we went over this a little bit last week. It's kind of like an old highborn elf city. And last week was the Warpwood Quarter. This week we have Capital Gardens, which is more centered around the actual elves. You've got, 3, 4, 5 bosses in here. A lot of them haven't been changed much since the original Dire Maul. So, like, a lot of these I was reading about and was like, oh, I remember doing this stuff. Kind of like the very first boss you come up is Tendrous Warpwood. I don't know if anyone remembers this guy. You show up. I remember trying to like sneak through the forest at the beginning. You go down this hill, and you have to kill this big ancient tree, who I believe he eventually calls.
Was this the one? Was this the one where you
him?
start off and you go in and you're kind of like on the second tier of like a cement level area? That's this one, correct?
And
it had
I
like
believe
the imp
so.
that you the
Dodge.
imp quest at
No,
the
no,
beginning.
no.
That you,
No, the imp was the other one. The imp was Warpwood one. This one was the one where you kind of went around and avoided all the packs that would march around the trees and stuff, and you'd kind of like zigzag through all the packs. And you have to take down the arcane pillars.
Yes, that's towards the end. Yep. Yeah, so this tree, it turns out he's been there forever and has been this like defender of this city. And he was like never wavering, always this like big like a defender, I guess, this like the guy that didn't let anyone in. And then eventually he even through the city falling apart, he still did that. And it took about 10,000 years for this guy to get corrupted along with basically everyone else in there. But it says here that his resolve basically kept him uncorrupted for so long, and eventually he did succumb. Aside from that, really not much there for this guy. This guy might be the most boring of all the bosses here.
Now, do you think he succumbed to the internet as well?
Probably. That is the corruption. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, then we have Magister Calendris, where he basically had all his lieutenants go around and do whatever he said, and laid out all his executions, all that kind of stuff. And then he was actually mortally wounded in battle and killed. And his spirit still kind of lingers around, and he's just sitting there in Dire Maul. So you're actually fighting his ghost, which is actually kind of cool.
He was actually murdered during. At some point, when we talk about Prince, the Prince, which is the final boss in here, not Prince, the artist formerly known as.
I'm pretty sure it's just a symbol. There is no words to describe what it is.
Maybe that's his new name. Yeah. No, so he's basically what happened was they were siphoning energy off of a demon in here to keep all the elves immortal, and Prince Tortheldrin, the elf names. He basically sent out all his closest people and said, "Hey, if we want to stay immortal, we got a overpopulation issue, and we're gonna have to solve this by killing everyone." So this guy went out along with some other people and killed a bunch of people, and was mortally wounded trying to basically kill his brothers, and died.
We could just call the Prince Torstein. That works.
Prince Torstein, yeah, that works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's much easier to pronounce.
Yeah. So then you have his ghost there. I don't remember. I honestly don't remember fighting him.
No, I remember he was
this.
up if you're facing the tree guy, you could go left or right, and there's 2 different doors that way. If you were to go to the right one, and wind your way, he's just before going up the ramp.
Oh yeah. And most of the time, I think you just tried to avoid him because he was kind of optional. I believe you didn't really need to fight that guy.
Yeah.
Yep.
He was on the second floor, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Instead of going down to the tree.
Floor. He was on the ground level floor, not the second floor. He was just
Oh,
before you
yeah.
went up. He was just at the bottom of that ramp.
Oh,
Before-
okay. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, Dire Maul.
The place where
This is one of the more
Is
confusing
it just
ones.
me, or is my only memory and recollection of Dire Maul was for the Paladin Charger? Like back when it was relevant, that was the only reason I ever went in there was to get my Paladin Charger.
And the Warlocks
Warlock
needed
as
this
well.
one too.
The Warlock
Warlocks
one,
needed Imulthar, I think.
Yeah.
Well, we talked about this
They had
last week.
wing.
One of my things I liked was that arena that was outside. That no, I don't. Even Zista didn't really like. If you walked into that arena, if you were on a PVE server, you were immediately flagged for combat for anyone. You basically it was a free for all arena, just like Urubashi. Except it seems not many people remember this one.
At the
Or just
time
went to the
that
other
was
one.
current, I was on a PVE server, so yeah, it was a little bit more active. People would go down there.
Yeah.
PvP server probably didn't make a whole hell of a lot of difference, but
Yeah.
Do you want to try to pronounce the hunter elf's name, Kyle? I
Yeah.
don't even-
It's Ilyana Revenok.
Wow.
Damn, just like right. Man, I got this. Why are you calling me out pretending like I can't pronounce names? Boom. Shit.
How long did you practice that before we went on?
Ask Squishy when we were going over this before show. I was like, yo, that name. I think I went like 4 or 5 times. I was like, all right, I got this. Yeah. So she's got a similar story to the Ghost, actually, where basically the prince said, hey, yo, we're overpopulated. You're gonna have to kill some bitches. And she was like, those bitches are my friend. I don't want to kill them. And then so he killed her, and then resurrected her as an undead protector. So you're fighting an undead hunter with a bear, who basically she didn't want to do the wrong thing.
He was a bit.
Kind of a cool story. Yeah, she didn't want to kill bitches. And that's what happens. You want to tackle this next one, Zista? Do you know anything about Imulthar?
Imulthar, he was a Void Terror, which is demon, and I know that Prince Torstein had these pillars created to basically contain it, pylons, to contain it within this the energy, to imprison it in there, to try to keep it there. And I know that the Void Terror actually was part of the Warlock quest, as we were just talking about. You needed to defeat this to get your Felsteed. Is that what it was called?
yeah.
Yeah. Yep. That quest, or this fight in this area was actually really cool. If you ever helped a warlock do this part of the quest, it was kind of cool to see.
I always remember getting
can you
into the
still do
room,
it?
and then there's the 2 pylons within that room. And then you go and you kill all the stuff, and then you're waiting there, and then the thing never drops because you forgot a pylon somewhere back in the instance, and then you have to go back. One person's like, oh, I know where it is, and they go. Everybody else waits there, and then he gets ambushed by some like stealth ghosts, and then dies, and then everybody ends up going. It was a mess.
Yeah, that
like,
was a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
There was a lot of like shit that you had to kill before that happened, and I remember the same thing. Like the room was huge, so, and I don't know if anything's changed between now and then, but it was I went through there with quite a few Warlock friends, and then I went through on my own. So
Yeah. So the reason why Imulthar is even in the instance in the first place is because they were trying to restore the Well of Eternity, and they summoned him in there to kind of siphon his energy to use for their own magic purposes, and trapped him in there to contain him. So.
Yep. He's been there for 10,000 years, just kind of hanging out in the little room. Bored as fuck. I would be bored as hell.
Hell yeah.
I just
you could see
10,000 years
once the pillars go down.
You don't have the wonders of YouTube to find all these
oh my
amazing
god.
videos.
They could at least
Amazing
give him
videos.
YouTube. If they just get, you know what? They could just give him the YouTube comments, and at least that'd be something. Ugh, that's awful. Yeah, so basically he's keeping them all immortal too. So that's a big reason that he's still there. Once the elves kind of were a little twisted, he was basically there to give them magics.
He's been kept in there so long. He's more pissed off than Shafnan is at the internet.
Wow.
It's true. Mm-hmm.
That's and that's a pretty high level to achieve. So
10,000 years would do that to you.
after 10,000 years, I'm free.
10,000 years.
Am I the only one who thought of that? Like every time I get 10,000, I just hear Rita Repulsa.
Alpha, we has escaped. Recruit a team of teenagers with attitude.
Oh my
That's all
god.
I was playing in my head for like the past 5 minutes.
I just pictured you with 10,000 years of just the internet. Like, that's it. You and the internet. I would.
I'll be
Oh.
right back. You guys keep going. I just thought of something really funny.
Uh-oh.
He's gonna change into
good.
the yellow dress. Here he goes.
He's going.
No,
He's gonna be
not
super
changing
yellow.
the yellow dress.
He's gonna change into Rita?
Our Sophist is the Black Ranger. Our Squishy's the Blue Ranger.
Mm-hmm. We got the Pink Ranger and you the blue? What are you? Yeah. Alright, so let's just move on. Maybe
Our
he'll...
Prince Thorstein.
Yeah, no, we're still there. Prince
Oh,
Thorstein,
okay.
he's here. He's here. So he's a loyal servant to Queen Ashara. He's actually the leader of Dire Maul, which it seems a little odd to me that he's not like the end boss of this whole place, unless we're doing it out of order, but I don't think we are. But he's the leader of Dire Maul, or I guess at the time it's called Eldrathalas. These goddamn elf names are killing me. Apostrophes everywhere. After the Well of Eternity is destroyed, like Zista said, they basically summon in this demon, and he's just using that demon to stay alive and keep doing whatever the hell he wants to do. Oh. Oh.
Dragon Sword!
Oh no.
Oh, that reminds me. Hang on, wait. If he's gonna go get that, hang on.
Oh my
Oh
god.
God. Alright, we'll see what that is.
Right then.
Ashley's
So,
not
yeah.
comfortable.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Yeah. So this guy basically he's not really crazy. He's just the leader of that city, and oh, he's got a communicator. Just talk to Zisto through that.
My ringtone.
Zista,
My ringtone used
can
to
you
be
hear
the
me?
Power Ranger
You want to
communicator.
share,
We'll
Fatty?
share.
Oh,
We'll
God,
see if
it's
we can
such
do
a tight
this.
squeeze.
All right.
Oh,
All right, we're
God.
good. We're good, right? We got this.
I think you're using the outside.
Hey guys, what's up?
This looks comfy. Oh yeah. Have you
Oh,
talked to
yeah.
Zista on your communicator yet?
Sucked in.
What's that?
Does that have a line directly to Zista?
Yeah.
Is your communicator?
Hello?
It's not on. It's out of reach again. But I'll
Fail.
pretend. I'll
Hello?
pretend.
What if you guys saw me go like this, and then I just disappeared off screen, and next thing you see me walk in frame in Shafnit's room?
Be so happy.
Yeah.
Alright, so Prince Thorstein. We gotta get back to Thorstein, she's gonna be mad. Basically the leader of that elf city. There's a couple things that are interesting about him. People, like, there's rumors that he knew the location of the Ashbringer before it was in Naxxramas. That, and the fact that I'm pretty sure, I think he's dead now. Yeah, post-Cataclysm, he was killed. The Alliance killed him. What jerks.
Oh. So he's actually not
The
in the
Alliance,
instance
man.
anymore.
No, the new... Well, I think he's still there. Oh, I don't know. He shouldn't be, but he might still be there. It says the new leader is Morden Evanshade. Yep. Because the Chandrillars, the Highborn, have recently rejoined the Night Elves. They've started to train their mages. If that makes... Oh, we lost Zista again. Goodbye.
I'm out.
Random.
He's just gone.
And
Just
he's
gone.
Shafnit's frame.
I gotta change again. I must wear 4 outfits this episode.
No, I left the door open and the furnace came on.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Is there anything like Dire Maul related that you guys like? We already kind of briefly touched on what you guys remembered of Dire Maul. Mostly getting lost.
Yeah.
Uh,
Let's say that.
yeah, and the quest for the. I didn't realize that the Paladin thing was here as well. I thought that was.
No, I
don't
know.
know, I never did Paladin
Originally,
stuff, so.
Dire Maul was all interconnected. It was one instance that you could get in through the different doors, and actually you could wander through the instance. Like if you went in through east, you can get through to west and north through that same portal. There were ways to do it. I don't know, since they actually have officially split them up now, if you could still do that. I would imagine you could, but I don't know. Because I know, like, if you had the key that you got out of, what was it, east? Or west?
Yes, east. You get out of east to get into west,
Yeah,
and
if
then
you
you
got
can
the key
go
out
to
of
north.
east, you could go into north and access the library, to get to Prince, who's actually in West, by skipping the whole instance.
You probably still can, it's just so far out of the way that random groups just don't do it.
Well, because I know all the keys don't exist anymore, so that's what I'm saying. I don't know if you could even open those doors to do that anymore.
There may not even
Yeah, well, nowadays with Dungeon
I
Queue,
doubt,
there's
yeah.
no reason to do it. Because
Yeah.
you just queue from Orgrimmar or Stormwind or whatever.
By random groups, you mean the 3 a month that queue while leveling up?
See, you know what? So this gets me thinking. This whole like visual upgrade that at some point in the next 10 years is coming. Are they just gonna make, like, with the dungeon queue system? Are they just gonna make all the characters models fat because they never have to walk anywhere anymore? They just ride mounts
They
and queue for
should.
dungeons.
They should.
Suffer the
You
consequences.
You just have a whole bunch of fat things. You're like, it's fine. You're all
Well-
lazy. So.
Are they gonna make them as fat as Shafnet?
Whoa! Oh no, I did
That's,
that. I did that.
I mean, man, that would be ridiculous if they were as fat as I was.
It's my
Just
fault.
saying.
I make everyone
Turn-
fat
They
for
should
me.
side-
suffer the
Sideways.
consequences when they don't walk. Travel the hard way.
So I think
Back
that's
in
it.
my
I
day,
think-
we had to go everywhere on our own.
Back in
Oh
my
God! Don't
day.
get her started.
10,000 years
Now,
ago.
now we got another person who's starting to sound like me. Back in my day,
Oh,
Oh,
my
I
God.
complain about
It
Warcraft
is.
all the time. I complain.
She's like,
all
I
the
really just
time
wish
about
that you
how-
had to make 2 things. Like, mages are just useful for their food. They should have to do that for everything. And I'm like, I don't want to show up to raids 3 hours before.
Hold
See,
on.
here's the difference with this, because my fondest memories were in Vanilla WoW, but I understand why things have changed, and I've accepted the changes, and I've moved on. I do still think raiding was more difficult in Vanilla during the Naxxramas era than raiding is currently,
Yeah, because
but-
you needed 40.
but the entire premise on that was the 40 people working as a collective unit. That's all.
Uh-oh, here it goes.
Here comes this
You
argument
can't
again.
even jump into this conversation, Shaft, because
I don't
you
even know
just
if I
admitted
agree with you.
You
No,
just
no,
admitted
because-
you didn't start
because
playing
here's the
until
thing.
Burning Crusade. You didn't even
look
have
back at
stats during
Look
that.
back at the mechanics of Molten Core. You can't tell me for a goddamn second that the mechanics of Molten Core
I
are
didn't say
more
I didn't say
are more. You said a 40-man raid.
Naxxramas, I specifically said.
You can't tell
Yeah,
me that
you-
the mechanics of Naxxramas, the original one, were more difficult than the mechanics that we're getting today. They're not. We
were.
have
Patchwork.
difficult.
Patchwork is so
now.
difficult.
People just didn't understand how to deal with them.
That's
Not
true,
bad.
but what we had available to us back then, when we were rating 40, as far as mods went and abilities went, were also not advanced
I think-
at all.
But,
I
the
think-
game's evolved and changed since then, and thus the developers have to adjust for that.
I still think Cthulhu, as a 40-man raid, is still the most technically difficult fight in the entire game.
Oh, that was a nightmare. I remember that.
I can't.
I
When it
enjoyed
was
the
current.
fight.
Yeah,
I enjoyed
can't
that
speak
fight,
from
but I
my
don't-
experience.
I mean, I raided hardcore back in Vanilla. Like, I was in a US 8 guild. I raided constantly, and granted, I'm not a hardcore raider now, but just my experience in there, it was harder back then. That's just how I feel anyway.
We don't want to get into that because me and Zista can fight for hours over that.
I was gonna say, if Shafnet was gonna keep fighting, I was gonna threaten to set his dress on fire.
Don't do that. Don't do that. You lose your
The,
studio.
That's an artifact. That's an
He'll set his
artifact.
whole office on fire. Watch.
It's just a
So tune in next week when we're down to 3 hosts.
My chart remains will still be here. I'm just I die every week, but I keep coming back.
True.
The other thing I just want to say is there's now 3 Horde and 3 Alliance right now.
Oh, we need to stop inviting
Yeah,
Alliance
you
people
Alliance
on the show.
over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, both of you. That's right.
Yep.
We'll take you
Oh
on.
man.
Zista, I'm still not scared of you. Come find me at any time. I'll still take you on, even with my crappy LFR PVE gear. Bring it on.
I got
Let's do
you
this.
on Real ID now, so I could find somebody on your server and get invited over there and just come gank you sometime.
Bring it on.
We still need
Let's
that
do
balance
this.
done. Oh, by the way.
Let's rumble. All right.
do.
So, did any of you guys watch the Siege today? Or have any idea what this is? It's the charity event that they did.
Caught the last,
Athene was
caught the last
was
end
putting
of it
some-
right as it was wrapping up.
I was at work.
Yeah, I think I watched the last half, maybe. Did you guys? I mean, you saw a little bit of it. Did you kind of? Was it something different and kind of enjoyable to watch? I don't know. I kind of liked it.
It's the same thing. He did Athene put it on, and he did the same thing for Firelands, except I think it was 2 different guilds. But
Yeah.
This time it was Midwinter and Method,
right? And that was a close race.
It was really close. Did you catch the end? The very end, you said?
Yeah.
I think it was 2 minutes, maybe, max, separated the two. So basically, 1 or 2 DPS dies. You could really see, well, I guess, when some DPS... What ended up costing Midwinter, I'll say it put it this way, was that the very first fight, they ended up losing, like, 6 DPS at some point. And so it slowed them down, and they were like 4 minutes behind Method the entire time just because of that. They didn't wipe until Dark Animus, and that was immediately after Method had wiped. So the only wipe for either of those teams was Dark Animus, and they cleared extremely fast. I mean, was it an hour and 22 minutes or something like that? It was under an hour and a half for Method, which is insane to do for me.
Oh, yeah.
An hour and a half to do 13 out of 13 heroic Throne of Thunder. That's impressive. Like,
now, this did not include Rauden, right?
No, it included
it
Rauden.
did.
Oh, did it? Wow.
But Rauden is not a very complex fight, nor anything.
No, but they were still worried because it's the mechanics hurt, so you can still wipe, is what they were saying.
So now, they were trying, the whole point of this is they were trying to raise the last $500,000 for Save the Children. Did they end up making their goal? Does anybody know?
They made their first goal. They made another goal. They raised that goal. Then they made a third goal, and they're almost there for the third goal now.
Wow.
Last I checked.
So it was definitely a success.
Yeah, they've raised a lot of money for Save the Children. It was a great event put up by Athene.
Yeah. It was the Siege. There was a couple other streamers involved. I know there was a League of Legends streamer involved in this.
Right. It was
so the 500,000 was.
There was Hearthstone as well.
Yeah. So for as obnoxious as a guy like that can be, like, he does a lot of really cool things and really good things. Like, he's really good at like rallying the community around stuff, which is, in my opinion, really impressive.
I think he's so obnoxious. I
watched a really, like, literally, like, because I remember I saw Blizzard posted this, and then I ended up discovering a video that he posted himself. It was just like, the video that Athene released was, why do people think Athene is a douchebag, or something of that, like, and he went into it, and he was just like, I don't get it, like, I don't get, like, why people have such hate for me. First off, it's fame. Everybody on the internet hates a popular person.
Oh yeah.
Everybody wants the fame and the recognition that he has. I'm not saying I like him or he's good, or I don't watch a lot of the stuff he does, and I don't like him. No. But I can still come to his defense and say that I think a lot of people are just simply jealous of the status that he has, and that's where they kind of get disgruntled with it. That's why people hate him. That's the internet.
So are you getting to that point, Shafnet? Like, I know you have
close.
Kiggles is your #1 fan. I think he's also your only fan.
I'm nowhere close to that point. I got plenty of ways to go. The thing is, but the video that Athene released that was really interesting here was, and he kind of talked. He's like, I don't get it. To me, like, if I can help, and if I can save one child, if I can provide food for one child, it's worth the one hater on the internet, or it's worth the 10,000 haters on the internet. And that's one thing that I gotta respect him for is you know, attitude, douchebaggery, everything at Athene is aside, he at his core still does want to help people, and that's more than a lot of us are doing. So you have to give him some sort of credit there, because he is taking the responsibility of what he has as a figurehead, as a gaming, the world's best gamer, as he likes to Twitter tag himself as, and he does take that title and applies it with responsibility, which not everyone or anyone does. So you got to commend him for that.
So he's kind of got like that Justin Bieber, Nickelback thing going for him, where like everybody just hates him because of what they are. And
because of
whether the music is good or bad, they're just hating on him to hate at this point.
No, it stems from something very real. He has a huge ego, and he is not afraid to have his point of view put out there, which is automatically abrasive to some people, which is fine. I mean, that's fine. If that's who you are. But he's also done so many good things for people, which is, in my opinion, like you said, really commendable. He's done far more for this world than I have, so I can't hate the guy for it. So, yeah, maybe he is kind of, like you said,
abrasive. No,
Twittering that you're
He even came out and said he's a douchebag. He's like I've got douchebag tendencies. He said it. Yeah. But he's still trying to do something good, and that is something to be respected.
Yeah, I agree. I completely may not have to like the guy, but he does a lot of good things, so I'm okay with it. So as a success, this whole thing, like, I thought it was interesting. It gave me a different way to look at rating. Like, I immediately was thinking, could you do something like see if someone, like, at the end of this patch, see how long it takes these top guilds to do. See, maybe it's just because me and Zista do a lot of, like, Zista does a lot of this marathon thing, but would it be cool to see how fast they could get through every single raid tier at the end of the tier? Just to see how fast they can run through the entire.
Wasn't there? There was a competition about this a couple of years ago where there was a guild that was starting that said they were going to gate themselves. They're going to start with vanilla WoW and they couldn't take any of like the new talents unless it didn't exist anymore. And they were going to level from 1 to 60. And then clear all of the level 60 content before unlocking their Burning Crusade content, and then they were going to level through and clear all of the Burning Crusade content, and until they finished Sunwell, they weren't going to move on to Wrath. And they did I don't know how far they went, and I can't remember if it was during Cataclysm or Wrath of the Lich King, but I think someone actually like kind of started this guild that set out these principles of leveling through the game in its purest entirety as much as you still could, which was interesting.
I remember hearing a little bit about that, and they said even with the new like changes that they made, it was much easier than it was at the time.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I know. It's just because of the inherent changes, the stuff that you can't help. Like it is. Actually, I think there is an affiliate
like
convert to raid
spell power and healing. Like we used to have plus healing on our gear back in vanilla. Like,
I missed that.
You know, like Shadow Priests couldn't use their healing gear to do damage.
Yeah, there are some guilds that still go back and do this. Like I know if an affiliate of Convert to Raid had been doing this, and they were in just past Ulduar, if I remember correctly, as of fairly recently. Yep, on a public server. Oh. So they basically just said, well, they didn't do you can't take talents. They basically said it is what it is. There's already inherently changes that have happened, but we're not going to take gear. We're not going to gear past things, and we're just going to do it as we go. I was kind of more along the lines of if they just say, all right, we're going to do Mists of Pandaria in one night, the entire raid experience of Mists of Pandaria in one night, and see how fast we can do it. That would be interesting to me. But if they can do Throne of Thunder in an hour and a half, at this point, they'd finish all of it in like 3, maybe. That's like a normal raid night for most people, so maybe it's not that impressive. Well, it's impressive, but maybe not that exciting.
The other thing is they don't want to turn into challenge modes. Redux. It turned into a 10-man challenge mode, turned into a 25-man challenge mode, because challenge modes, they're hard, but they were supposed to be more of the 5-man end-game content, whereas now they're just kind of you speedrun this as fast as possible to get rewards.
I don't mean in-game, I just mean something to watch, people to watch, like if they streamed it. Not like Blizzard needs to do it, like just something to make, raiding a little more watchable, because right now...
Right.
Unless you're involved in it, it's not that fun, I don't think, to watch.
The other thing, at the end of the Cataclysm beta, they told people to group in front of Orgrimmar. And the GMs, they released multiple bosses at the same time.
Yeah.
What if they did that?
That's awesome.
Like, you have to fight, this boss and this boss at the same time, handle both the mechanics at the same time, and just let them go.
Yeah, see, I would love to see them do something like that. They could utilize the Northrend Arena that we haven't seen, the Trial of the Grand Crusader. Like, throw people in there and just start spawning bosses, just random bosses. Like, put 2 in at a time. Throw Ragnaros and...
Which one? Ragnaros and Ragnaros.
I know
both Ragnaroses.
Like it'd be really awesome, but just think about that for a second.
I am. That's why it would be awesome.
No,
it would be a giant
bosses probably from the
cluster.
Same tier, but otherwise,
Nope, themed bosses.
Up, level 90 Ragnaros.
2 Ragnaroses. I want 2. One with legs and one without. Oh, man. Alright, so we should probably move on a little bit. Squishy, did you want to do a little bit of a patch recap of because since 5. You know what, actually, before we do that, 5.4 is coming out, right? I guess I could play this video if I can find it. I have it here somewhere. You guys won't be able to hear it in here, but the rest of them will. We can talk as it plays, I guess. So this is kind of old news, at least this video. But I know for a brief moment, a lot of us were getting kind of excited over 5.4 just because of this video. Is this you guys still excited to get in there in the Siege of Orgrimmar and try and actually do this for real?
I totally want to kick Garrosh's ass. I transferred servers. I moved to Squishy server. I temporarily left months behind. I will be back to them at some point. I'll be back to them at some point, but I left to go to Squishy server so I could actually get some rating in this tier.
No, you went because your server's dead. Let's face it. I'm gonna go to Battlefield Barons.
Really?
It's not dead.
Yeah, so Garrosh, he's gonna get his ass kicked by many players.
Yes, and he kind of deserves it. I mean, kind of an asshole. I don't know.
So here's the question then. Here's something I'll throw to you guys. What do you think? Obviously, Siege of Mist of Pandaria was obviously allured to be this expansion with no real bad boss. Do you think that Garrosh really came to fruition here? Do you think that it built up to this ultimate climax? Because at BlizzCon, they didn't announce a boss. They didn't announce, we're going to Mist of Pandaria. And then they panicked because the community panicked. And we're like, well, then what are we doing? Why are we doing this? And that's when they let leak at the press event that Garrosh would be the end boss. And they, like I said, they kind of panicked. They immediately wanted to let people know that it was still going to build into something. You guys, would you guys say that it truly did build into this great epic feeling that you needed to take out Garrosh?
Yeah, I'd say so. They did a really good job with the storyline this entire expansion. And they definitely made him seem like a really bad person.
They basically took the time they had to morph him into this bad guy, because he wasn't initially. It's not like you came into Wrath and was like, oh, the Lich King, that guy, that is a bad guy, and he just made his appearance over and over and over and over and over until you were like, all right, we're finally going to kill this guy. So I think it kind of lacks that a little bit, but at the same time, they did such a good job of making him into this bad guy that now that we finally get to kill him, we're kind of like, yep, yeah, I'm ready. He needs to get his ass kicked because he's done so much shit.
Yeah, as Sophus just stated, you had Wrath of the Lich King, which was let's go back. Like, vanilla, we didn't really know who the end boss was going to be. It ended up being Kel'Thuzad. They just kind of threw that at us. Burning Crusade, it was Illidan, but then it wasn't. It was Kil'jaeden. It was like, what the hell is going on? It was not really defined. Like, Illidan was killed, like, one boss earlier in the tier. Like, you still had Sunwell after that. And then Wrath of the Lich King, we knew Lich King was going to be the end.
Sunwell was an afterthought, though.
Because they kind of
claim it's because they ran out of content that they eventually released Sunwell. Illidan was always stapled as the figurehead of Burning Crusade.
Right, so then we have Wrath of the Lich King, and you have the Lich King, and they just, every turn, they're throwing him in your face that, quite frankly, I was sick of seeing him. And by the time I got to it, by the time I got to actually kill the Lich King, it's just like, I'm sick of you, I don't want to look at you anymore. Like, he was just in your face too much. They didn't give you...
You don't think that the quest line where he like pops up and you're doing a quest, say a group quest, and he just pops up and like taunts you a little bit, you didn't like think that was cool at all?
At first, but then like the 5th or 6th time that it happened, I was sick of it. You know what I mean? It was just, I thought it was too much. He's showing up in Trial of the Grand Crusader, every time you turn around, he's like showing up. I think he was just in your face a little too much. Then you have Deathwing for Cataclysm, and he's running around and breathing fire on people, and he didn't really seem too much of an imminent danger. Like, we knew the whole story and he ripped the world apart, yada yada, but when it came down to brass taxes and actually seeing him out in the world, it didn't do too much for it. But now here with Siege of Orgrimmar, I think they nailed Garrosh. They molded him into this perfect boss that you want to fight him, you want to kill him. Like, there's the whole motivation behind it. The motivation did not seem to be there for the other ones.
I agree with you that they did really well with Garrosh, but I can't agree with you at all on Deathwing. Like, the fact that he wasn't, like, a big threat, the fact that he, like...
Yeah.
I thought he was really epic as far as a boss goes. The fact that you, like... I think maybe the boss fights weren't done as well as they could have been, but the fact that, like, they turned him in... He was 3 boss fights! Like, that was cool, like, initially. I mean, it gets a little tiring when you're like, alright, fight Deathwing, then fight Deathwing again, and then again. But... or maybe it was just 2, but, yeah. I don't know. I thought he was good. I thought this was really good. It was a different approach. They built him up. They basically said, we're going to show you how much of an asshole this guy is, and by the time we get to the end, you're going to want to kill him.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I could see. I am a little disappointed that they like you said, they panicked and were like, oh, by the way, Garrosh, you're going to kill Garrosh in the end. Because it would have been cool to just be like, this guy is an asshole. And then be like, oh, we get to kill this guy.
That was actually announced day 2 at BlizzCon. I know it wasn't announced the first day, but I thought Metzen spilled the beans on, like, the lore panel or something.
I don't remember that, but I remember it was a huge deal at the press event because everybody was just like, oh my god, no, there's an end boss, it's Garrosh. That was a big leak during the press event.
Now, for us, it's like, for the Horde side, it definitely feels like he betrayed the Horde. How does it feel from an Alliance side? Does it feel good that you're killing a formal Horde leader, or you're like, do you feel like you're helping the Horde clean up the bad stuff? How does that, like, I just want to know either of your opinions.
Let's get Ashley's opinion first and foremost. We haven't heard anything from her.
It's a little jaded because I made her switch to Alliance, so she hasn't been the purest Alliance that I've
She's
been.
Horde at heart. She's
Horde at heart.
True story. I started on the 7-day trial as Alliance, but when I started playing with my friends, they were all Horde. So I was Horde until I basically started hanging out with Mike. And then because he was like, oh, I'm going to play,
Night Elf Druid. I'm not
switched.
switching.
Come to the Care Bear side.
So here's what I would say though, and as the Alliance, I think it feels very redeeming. After everything that he's done, you've seen what he's done to Theramore. You've seen a lot of the impact that he's had negatively on the world. So it does feel very good to go after him. Does it feel as good as what it was killing the Lich King? Hell no. And I don't even I'll ignore Death. I felt better about killing the Lich King than I did about Illidan or Deathwing.
See, we're actually in agreement there.
So I don't feel as good going up against Garrett. Like it still doesn't matter as much to me. And that could be because Arthas had a lot of lore between Warcraft and all of the build up throughout Wrath of the Lich King that was centered around Arthas. But I just don't feel, even if I'm able to get in there and take him down, I don't think I'm going to feel as satisfied as I did when I took down Arthas.
Solid.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree. Just because he hasn't been around, I mean, he did. Like, they did a really good job of making him an asshole, I guess, that everyone wanted to kill, but Arthas has so much backstory.
And that's the problem that they run into. Eventually, they're going to run out of figureheads for us to go after, and that's kind of what I saw Mist of Pandaria being. I don't know, I doubt Sargeras will be the next boss that we go after, but like I kind of looked at Mist of Pandaria and even maybe the next expansion as their opportunity to build new stories, to build new figureheads that we think that this guy's a douche. And I'm not saying that I think that we'll go up against Wrathion, but at some point we might be able to, because they've been spending a lot of time investing into the lore of Wrathion. And that's what makes us want to kill these bosses. They need these in-between expansions to build up new lore. They can't just ride off Warcraft forever. They're going to run out. And they have to take time to build up new people.
Okay, what about next expansion? Jaina is the new... Jaina is the new next boss.
You've been playing too much League of Legends.
She's been turning out to be somewhat of an asshole in Dalaran, kicking out of the Sunreavers. Yes, I've been playing too much League of Legends. But she kicked out the Sunreavers out of Dalaran.
Right.
I don't think that's ever
I don't know.
gonna happen.
It was just kind of a weird thought. Maybe Varian Rin, because not even the Alliance likes him.
Why is there suddenly, like, just because they did Garrosh, now it's got to be figureheads of the current, like, factions? They have to be the end bosses.
Whatever. I think a major figurehead of the Alliance is dying during this raid. I can feel it.
Here's the thing. I think for expansion wise, here's what we can see. We can take a look at next expansion, Burning Legion. Expansion after that, Titans. Expansion after that, Sargeras. Would be my guess.
See, if we're going with the trend of Dark Below, if we're going with trend of Dark Below being the next expansion, I know the Dark Below is actually something in Warcraft lore, and it has something to do with the Twisting Nether, which ties back into demons and all that lore, so that would fit very well with the Burning Crusade kind of Burning Legion expansion. I could see Vosh, Lady Vosh, actually being the final boss of that, because obviously it wouldn't be Sargeras. We need...
Why would it be Vosh, though? Because I feel like...
We need a strong female end boss. We haven't had one yet. Through all of the Warcraft lore, we have not had a prominent... Am I derping
right now? Who was the end boss of SSC?
Vosh.
Oh, not Vosh. Who's...
I was like...
I was gonna say, we already killed her.
Exactly.
I've been trying.
She's coming back!
Sorry.
Burning Legion, man. She's coming back.
Oh, hold on. Anixia.
Serpentine just a step back.
Oh yes, bring Anixia back.
Yeah.
Let's do another Anixia. I am in agreement.
Throw Katrina Prestor back in the
that's necessary.
I think we need more dots.
Being Queen Chara, 100%.
Oh my god. Alright. Did you want to just give us an overview, Squishy, of what's coming out? Basically, patch 5.4. What does that have in store for us?
Obviously, there's the new raid with Garrosh, the final boss. That just is going to be excited to kill. Super excited with his cat, pet, and Cinder Kitty. There's also the new Timeless Isle.
Yep.
There's a new Timeless Isle which features pet battle tournaments and lots of dynamic events to do with only one daily quest.
More Zista written all over this. Like, did they design this patch 5.4 for him?
Yeah. There's also flex rating, which is a new difficulty. A step up from LFR rating, and a step down from normal. So it's in between those two difficulties. And the most important thing is it is flexible in size. Surprise. You can take anywhere between 10 and 25. Look at those non-existent muscles.
I don't even know what the hell that's a twig.
Do you want to try Shafnin?
Zista, I don't know if you know this. Muscles don't show over sweatshirts, so you
It's Shafnin, come on. Let's see it. Chop chop.
Are we really flexing? Let's not do that. Oh, look at that!
Look at that! Has a big
Ashley wins.
I win.
Can we get an arm wrestling match?
I would totally beat you all.
BlizzCon.
Probably.
All right.
Let's do it. We're all gonna be there.
So
Mr. buys the drinks, right?
So flex.
Yeah.
I think,
Flex rating. You guys all doing flex rating?
Yeah.
Anyone here?
Definitely. It'll get me back into it.
Shafnit.
When available. I'll sit here and rant about how much I hate LFR, but I'll at the same time defend the fact LFR is a great tool for people who don't have the ability to make any commitment whatsoever. And that's honestly all I have time for, and I hate it. I personally hate that I don't get to see the cool content. I personally hate that I'm not going to get awesome heirlooms. Fact of the matter is I don't have time for it, and I'm perfectly okay with that. So that's the reality of it. I'd love to do flex when available, but that when available is obviously key, and that's what's great. That's what's great about it. You know, Squishy opened up his arms to his raid group. He said, if you ever want to join up in flex, come. You're more than welcome, and I really appreciate it. And I'll be there as long as I'm available.
That was weird.
Yeah, But I don't want to get in, because if we do that, one of these days we're just going to have a flex versus LFR, like, brawlcast where we all just yell at each other about how much, like, which one's better. and
now
what
that
they could do to
Shaft
fix
is
it.
here-
They're no. They're not even. You can't compare them. I'll shut that episode or argument down right now. They're not the same thing.
Right.
They're
No.
not,
I just mean like. No, I just mean like we have every week this comes up, and every week we're like, oh yeah, but if they could do this, this would be better than this, and then like.
So we'll just leave it as flex rating is heroic LFR.
No.
no,
Keep saying that.
it's just
Anything
like
that could be scaled down is not.
it's not even close.
Yeah,
LFR is like heroic 5-mans. That's what I.
Flex is scaled down normal. And then
LFR is heroic derp. That's how I feel about that.
LFR is right click, follow. I'm gonna go get a pizza. See you later.
Yeah, no, legit that you can do it that way.
wand the entire time on boss encounters, because that's what it's for, right? These days, the wand.
Oh man. Oh
But,
my god.
but-
All right, let's move on from this LFR flex thing.
Moving on
Yeah.
before this turns into an all-up brawl. Back in BlizzCon 2011, we heard about Proving Grounds, and after 2 years, they're finally in the game.
What about the
This
dance studio?
Test your tanking, DPS, or healing in a safe environment to not get yelled at by all the LFR folks, or 5-man. But
It's got a better come out ratio than Dance Studio, so at least we've waited 2 years.
It's here.
It's got a one up there.
Or the Diablo 3 PvP.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. Yep.
or Defense of the Ancients, aka Dota.
They recently just said that is probably not coming out anytime
Yeah.
soon.
Yeah.
They've halted production indefinitely on that.
I know. It's sad. It's a sad day. And then obviously their last thing is the arena update. There's no more arena teams, and arena is now cross roam. So that's definitely a step up. I'd also like to see an unranked mode, similar to other games that have ranked mode, just for some casual play. Just sometimes go in and just fool around in arenas, do some 2s or 3s without having to care too much about the rating. But that's definitely a step in the right direction.
Yeah. Yeah. PvP, man. One of these days, someone's gonna get me to actually try it. I don't know. And the best is I've always played classes that are quote unquote broken in PvP, and I'm like I don't like it. I hate being a mage in PvP.
Well, Kyle, I know you don't frequent the Months Behind forums very often, but I know Lore actually just made a post about doing rated battlegrounds and stuff. He's looking for people to get into that, so...
Maybe he wants the softest rated team. We'll see.
Good.
So I'm going to throw this out there. Starting with, we'll start with our guests, Shafnet and Ashley. But what are you looking forward to most in 5.4?
After you,
Why are you pointing at me?
what are you looking forward to?
Playing? I mean, I haven't played in months because of school, but...
I think the thing that I'm really excited about is Timeless Isles. I mean, rating the rate aside, I think that what they're doing with Timeless Isles, creating an environment where it's just fun to jump in and play, to explore a cave just to see what's down there, is
Minecraft?
what I.
I mean,
Not even Minecraft.
Cube World, rather, sorry.
Tibia.
No.
Everybody drink.
No.
Right,
Star Wars
Squishy?
Galaxies.
Squishy, you played Tibia with me.
I
you
did.
Know. You know what's up.
You should get Zista to
Yeah.
24-hour live stream it.
Oh,
That's what you should do.
Me and
I'll
Gary-
live stream it with you.
Me and Gary need to meet up sometime to have an in-depth discussion about Star Wars Galaxies.
Just, I might be designing a game this semester, so maybe you can 24-hour live stream my game.
Sure.
Oh, yeah, no, I agree with you on that. The Timeless Isles, that is actually potentially the most, like,
Rating's awesome,
game-changing
right?
of all
And
the
what they're
things.
doing with Siege looks fun and it's exciting, but what they're doing with Timeless Isles is a game changer for the static MMO that we've all been playing for X amount of years. Like, it's different, and that's what's going to make the game invigorating and exciting. The rated is going to be great, but what they're doing with the Timeless Isles really could change the way that WoW plays.
Yeah, after spending some time on the Timeless Isle on PTR, I have to say it is quite a lot of fun. I'm not so much excited for that as I am the actual raid. I just want to go in there and kick Garrosh's ass. But I'm more excited for the possibilities of what they could do with the Timeless Isle technology in the future. That's
Yeah, potentially. This is a good testing place for them to kind of just say, all right, this is all the ideas we have. Let's see what people like. And if they like this, and this, we're going to try and invest that into our next expansion or something.
Right.
Personally, I'm flex rating is really what I'm looking for. Just because it fits my my life right now. Is it like I might be able to, spend a day or two and just say, all right, I'll be able to raid these times with these people, and maybe sometimes I can't make it. Maybe I got a ton of homework or I got a ton of work I have to do. I can't make it tonight. It's fine. They can raid with 12 instead of 13 or something like that. That's the one I'm excited for, because to me that's what I wanted LFR to be from the beginning. So that's what makes me excited for 5.4. To say hopefully that they take it, they learn their mistakes, because they're going to make mistakes, I think, in 5.4 with Flex. But if they can take it and flesh it out for the next expansion is what I'm looking forward to.
Right. Indy, what about
Squishy?
you?
I agree with Sophie. I'm really excited for flex rating, only because, and at first I was very resistant to the idea, but because my schedule has changed so drastically, I'm now thrown into that pool where my choices would be LFR, or if I find a smaller group of people who are willing to flex raid, then that definitely fits my, at this time, that capacity for what I can do. And being a healer who loves to raid, it's going to bring me back into raiding. Like, it's going to give me the ability to do it again, but not have to commit to the schedule that I once had. So I'm with Sophie on that one, and I also am excited to see the Timeless Isle, but more over the flex rating, because I'll get to heal again and troll people with my life grip.
So I think my favorite part is the Feral Druid nerfs of the patch notes.
Rude!
But really, it's all about the rating for me. Flex rating, I think I'm most excited about flex rating just because I want to see how they do it. Because for a couple of years, whenever someone would ask, lore or on Legendary about would they ever have scalable raids, people would always say no, because it wouldn't make sense. But then all of a sudden they throw this out there, and I'm just kind of interested to see how they're going to do it, and if it's going to work with a more wide audience. So, plus it's back to pugging 3 tunes every week in flex rating.
I have a stupid question about that, though. Is it going to be subject to the same lockouts as everyone else?
No. You
It's
can do
separate lockout for
LFR,
everything.
you can do Flex, you can do normal.
Yep.
Slash
Okay,
heroic.
so then is it going to be, if you're doing flex rating primarily, is that going to be also subject to, how LFR comes out later than content for people who raid outside of LFR? Is that going to be a thing too?
It's a 1 week delay.
For
Per wing.
flex?
Per wing, starting on the first day.
LFR comes out a week after the Flex.
Okay, but flex rating
Flex
is
is
not
open-
going to be delayed.
No, it is.
Nope.
It is.
Oh, it is.
It's being released. It's split up, just like LFR is split up. Same
That's what I was
style
wondering.
of wings, and it's going to come out systematically. And I think it's like Flex 1 week, LFR the next week, Flex 1 week, LFR.
Approximately. That's
Yeah.
close enough without going into exact detail, but it's looking to be an amazing patch, as with always from Blizzard.
Yeah, Flex wing. We will have the first wing available on day 1.
Yep. The last thing about the patch that I forgot to cover. The in-game store may or may not be coming to NA servers. What do you guys think? Is it coming or is it not?
No.
I don't think we're gonna have it immediately. I think it's gonna be. I'm pretty sure Shaftnet was the one that said this on Legendary, that it's not gonna be there, and then we're gonna end up demanding that it comes over here. So they kind of save face, and they're like, "Well, we weren't gonna give it to you guys, but you wanted it, so here it is."
Even if we don't end up demanding it, I don't think they'll release it right away. They're going to give it at least one patch to see how it works before they integrate it over here. They wouldn't do it at the same time. It would cause too much backlash, and as Zista said, that I had said previously, they'd be better off waiting for us to be like, the fuck, we want this too. And then they get to just completely just be like, oh, well, here you go.
Fine, good guy Blizzard, here, have a cookie.
Give us more money, we don't care.
Yeah, exactly. Wait a minute, you guys want to give us money in the game?
Yeah.
You don't want to go outside the game to do it? Alright, here. Yeah. Alright, so 5.4, that's your recap. We gotta go over
all day long.
No, for the love of God, no. Also, we gotta move on because we got 2 more games to cover, so we'll try and do this quick. New segment this week, so we want to try this out. Squishy actually recorded opening for everyone here. We all play Hearthstone, right?
Yep.
And that's in here. Okay, so you guys will be able to kind of chip in. He got a pack and recorded himself opening it. So we're gonna watch him open these cards, and then like one at a time as he shows us the cards, we're gonna just kind of give us our thoughts on the card. Maybe if something you think is broken and needs to be fixed about it for live, or just your general thoughts, like is it a good card? Is it a crap card? Why is it a good card? And just break it down. So there's only 5 cards in these packs. So I'll switch it over so you guys can see it. And we can watch Squishy open his pack of cards.
It's exciting.
So what do we got?
Legendary.
I don't actually remember what's
You
in
hover
Epic!
over them.
I do. That's
Okay,
how you have
there's
to open packs
There's an epic.
in Hearthstone.
Okay,
Yeah, one epic.
so we have 1 epic, 1 rare, and 3 normals. Okay.
Okay, suspense, guys.
Oh, does it actually
First-
highlight when you flip
It does.
It does.
It does, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So first one, we got Bloodsail Raider. It's a 2 mana costing, 2 attack, 3 health. Battlecry, gain attack equal to the attack of your weapon. Squishy, what do you think about this card?
I think this card is really good for Arena because obviously for classes that have a weapon, preferably Paladin Rogue. It can be pretty nasty if you get it out with like a Deadly Poison up on a Rogue or something and get it up to like 9/3 for 2 mana, but I don't think it works that well in Constructed personally.
What's the effect on it? I didn't hear that.
Battlecry. So the Battlecry is something that happens when it comes into play. Gains attack equal to the attack of your weapon.
Gotcha. Okay.
And it's a pirate. If that makes a difference anyway.
Pirate deck.
It is a pirate. I'm going to go ahead and say that I like it in both standard and if you can fit it into your standard deck. There are only 30 cards. I say standard because I come from Magic. You're Constructed. But in draft, like you said, it's a 2-drop that comes out on turn 2. A 2/3 for 2 that's fine. I'm okay with taking that. I think it does damage. It's cool. It's good. It's a good card. Late game, it can also be huge if you have it in the right deck. I've had this thing come out as a 7/3. 7/3 for 2 mana. I guess I will take that because that asks your opponent, do you have an answer for this? If yes, then you've used one of your opponent's like key removal spells. If they don't, you're hitting them for 7 in the face for 2 on the next turn, which is in my accounts, this card is really good.
Definitely,
Yeah.
it definitely has potential.
My issue with cards like these is they're a little misleading at first because it seems like this is an early game card due to its low mana cost, but it's not. It's more of a mid to late game card because if you're going to use it with the Rogue, you need to have a weapon equipped, which the weapon is, 5 mana?
Yeah.
And then you're going to want to stack some Deadly Poison on that. So you're going to have to pre-do this so the turn before. So this is at least a card you're not going to use until turn 6. So you get that on, and then the next turn you might throw on 2 rounds of Deadly Poison, and then throw this thing out there even after buffing your weapon. So pretty much this is like a turn 6 card, and you're going to be using all your mana this turn for this card.
You don't even.
I don't
you don't
agree
need
with
to wait
that.
till turn 6. It's a
I don't agree
solid
with that.
2-drop as is. Like a lot of people
Yeah.
have the Crocalist.
It's
I think
not
you're falling into the
solid.
trap when you look at a card and say, okay, best case scenario, this is what happens. But I think you just need to say, look, on turn 2, if I play a 2/3, am I okay with that? Yes,
It's
I'm perfectly fine with
the
a 2/3.
Crocalist. And how many people have the Crocalist in their deck? Quite a lot. So
Yeah, I think in Arena, you might be right more so in a constructed deck where you're like, no, I don't want to play this until later, but I can play it turn 2. But in the Arena, I think it's a much better card.
Yeah.
I don't know. You want to move on, or do you guys have anything else?
I mean, I don't have anything that you guys have necessarily said.
I fun.
Okay. What else we got here? This is just the commons here. Okay, Scarlet Crusader. It is a 3-mana, 3/1 Divine Shield.
I hate Divine Shield.
Yeah.
So, who's got the Shafnets? Any
It's tough for me. I haven't built a really strong Paladin Divine Shield deck. As a mage, the mage is the deck that I've played the most with. I don't ever care about Divine Shields. Like, with the mage, especially late game when Divine Shield becomes really important, I'm able to deal with a majority of the ones that have come my way in the games that I've played with just my Fire Blast. Or I'm able to intelligently manage, attacking which card, which one's going to take the least amount of damage. It's nice to have that extra hit, but I think for me, again, the main thing here is that it's a Divine Shield, so you get 1 free hit, but it's only got 1 health. So it's only going to last at most 2 turns, and that Divine Shield could potentially be drastically wasted. I wouldn't take it.
Mm-hmm.
You make a really good point there.
100% in agreement on that.
You make a really good point in the fact that Divine Shield is really weak against mages. Because they don't have to waste anything to get rid of the Divine Shield. They just ping it with their hero power. So, especially against the mage, it's not worth it. And the main thing is there's a 4-drop, a 4-mana cost. I don't remember what it's called, but it's a 3/3 with Divine Shield.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So for 1 more mana, you get 2 more health, which makes it survive basically a lot more. And I think, I'm in agreement.
Yeah, I think this is a trap card. Worst case scenario in Arena, if you got 2 other things that absolutely don't fit into your deck, I'm okay with taking it. I don't think it's a terrible card. I just don't think, like you said, Divine Shield, sweet, you come up against a mage and they're just like, poke, hit you with my 1/1, traded for absolutely nothing.
Right.
I think
That
it would be a
was
better
useless.
card if it was sitting at 2 mana.
That would be really far ahead of the curve, though.
Yes,
You'd have
that
to
would
drop
be
it to
impressive.
a 2/1, I think. If you drop
Yeah.
it down, it'd have to be a 2/1.
I think at 2 mana that's unbalanced, but at 3 mana it's just kind of a eh. But you know
It's a
what?
weird card.
There are cards you have to have. You have to have these cards in a set, or
Right.
every card is amazing, and that's not
See,
good.
a good one to pair that up with, if you're going to be, probably not for Arena, but for Constructed, is the card that removes all the Divine Shields and buffs that minion. This would be a good throwaway card for that minion.
Yeah, I agree with that. If you were trying to build around something like that, yeah, for sure. This reminds me of the 3/1 Charge Beast, right? The Wolf Rider.
Right.
How much better is the Charge Beast at 3/1 without the Divine Shield?
Better.
It comes on the
Much
board,
better,
you
yeah.
immediately hit something with it. You at least deal 3 damage no matter what.
To what you
like this
want.
thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, this thing could be dead by the time you even get to swing with it. So yeah, it's okay. I would say if you're up against some other things that don't work with you, then go ahead and take it.
You have to look at it this way. It's more or less a taunt card without having taunt.
Mm-hmm.
Which
All
then
right,
what's the
so-
point?
Yeah, because
It's-
sometimes
yeah,
you just ignore the
exactly.
3 damage and just go over it. Yeah. All right. 3rd card, we got Wrath. Okay, so this is a Druid only card. It's 2 mana. Choose 1. You deal 3 damage, or you deal 1 damage and draw a card.
I
Thoughts?
love this card for a Druid deck.
Yeah.
You get to
Yeah,
choose if you need the instant removal of 3 damage, which takes care of most early game threats, such as Pint Size, Knife Juggler, or if you just need it for that pesky 1 health minion remaining, and you get draw, which is amazing.
Yep. To poke that Divine Shield before you go in to kill it. And plus, you get to
I love
draw.
the Druid itself, because most of the Druid cards, the class-specific cards, are choose 1, and they give you 2 options. I really
Yeah,
like
they
that
fit.
whole mechanic, that the card dynamically changes to what you need at that time.
Right.
Yep.
And that's what the
I think
Druid-
overall-
that's what a lot of the other classes bring a lot of, like Shaman bring a lot of totems and a lot of presence. Rogues bring a lot of weapons and a lot of assassination of removal of cards. That's what's really
Crowd
nice
control.
about the Druid deck is the versatility of it, which is exactly to the core of what a Druid is. So
Yeah. All right. Here we go. This is the good cards right here. So we got his rare that he gets in this pack. A rare! Alright, what do we got? We got it's Mana Addict. 2 mana, 1/3. Whenever you cast a spell, gain 2 attack this turn.
Squishy knows my feelings on this card.
I personally love it for heavy spell decks.
I hate going against this card.
I use this, but it actually is affected by your coin.
Yeah.
Am I correct? So you can you can. I thought you could stack it, but I think it only happens once per turn.
No, it
happens as many times per turn, but
resets
doesn't
at the
stay.
end of your turn.
Yep. Right.
So here's where I'm at on this card. Aside from the coin, which I think is an entirely different debate, where I don't think it needs to be counted as a spell.
Yeah, we went into this last episode.
Last week, yeah. Most of us were in agreement that thing needs to be changed. However, in most spell decks, yes, I think this is pretty good. In a mage deck, the mage has a specific card, the Mana Wraith, I believe, where you get 1 attack per spell, but it stays permanently. I prefer that in that deck.
Yeah. Plus it's 1 mana.
Oh, that's the 1-drop, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it is a 1 mana drop. Yeah. This good. I don't think in the constructed deck it doesn't always make the cut. Like I think it just there's other cards that are better. But it's still a very solid pick.
A fairly, and I could be wrong. There could be a lot of mage decks out there that play a lot more a lot more casting cards than I do. I have, I think, like 5 to 8, which I think is a lot. And I used to have this in my deck to try it, and I just found myself I never was able to play enough spell cards due to their mana cost, or just and I was never able to play enough to buff this card substantially, and the fact that it goes away after 1 turn, like, again, it severely cripples the effectiveness, because it's like, even if you get 1 good turn out of it, it's gone pretty much in the next one.
Yeah, I think there are better 2-drops. But I would challenge you to go back in your mage deck. My mage deck may have 5 to 8 creatures in it. Try it that way.
Yeah, I think that's
sounds
the direct
ridiculous.
opposite as well.
It is insane. It is really good though.
You gotta
Because
remember,
most of the
mages do have
mage,
a lot of low-costing spells as well. I think this is actually a card more suitable for a rogue deck where you have a lot of 0 ability spells, but the mage does have a lot of low-costing ones as well. They have the 2-draw, they have the arcane missiles. There are some low spell costs that can make this thing pretty nasty early game.
Yeah, I think this is interesting because it's not really. I think it's a trap for a mage. But you should look into the mage deck, because the mage deck, the one I have, Squishy's seen it, where you just have tons of. You don't need that many creatures, because most of the mage attack spells can hit the other opponent directly as well. So you don't need creatures. All right, let's get to this next one. This is epic.
And the final one.
What do we get? Faceless Manipulator. Oh, this is a hot topic for me.
Kyle loves
Any
this
thoughts?
card.
Shafnit, do you want to start? Or Indy?
I
I
don't know
got
what the
this
effect
one.
is. I don't know what the effect is.
Choose a minion and become a copy of it.
Permanently.
Yes, I'm
Right.
sorry. It's
For
a
5
5-drop.
Become any minion on the board.
5 mana, 3/3. Yes, it becomes a choose a minion and become a copy of it. It's
Yes.
battle
It
cry.
also copies any effects that the creature has. If, for example, a druid places...
Is that a battle cry?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay,
sorry.
it's battle card. So if you copy something, like, let's take a priest card, for example. Let's say they make one of those ridiculous 73 to 73 minions, right? You can have the Faceless Manipulator come out and copy it, and it maintains all those buffs.
But it doesn't.
Also,
it doesn't replicate
if you
Battlecry.
copy something, yeah, that is the big thing. I think this card is.
I think it would be
Yeah.
extremely overpowered if it copied their battle cry.
Well, it does
don't-
copy their battle cry. It just doesn't allow you to use it.
Right.
If you place it
'Cause they're
back in
already
your
on the field.
hand, you can then battle cry it out again.
Right.
It's not a Faceless Manipulator anymore. Once it,
No.
Actually,
See-
I don't know.
What?
No.
If it leaves
No,
play?
if it plays and it any card that leaves your hand and goes onto the board and turns into something else, it remains that. That is the same way for the Defias combo card that the rogues have, where you can split that up. You can vanish all those cards back into your hand and keep playing them, and they don't disappear or anything like that. It works that way. It morphs into the card permanently.
my issue with this is a couple things. It replicates a state. So if something is a 6-1 because it's been damaged and it was initially a 6-5, you copy it as is, which it's without getting into the mechanics of if I agree with whatever or not. I don't really like that for the most part. Once in a while, you're going to hit something good, like he said. You're going to be like, oh, this guy's got a 73-73. How do I deal with that? Oh, I make my own. That doesn't happen a lot. The other issue I have with it is it doesn't replicate the battle cry. So you play something and you want to copy a thing that when it comes into play, it deals 3 damage. You're like, okay, I'll just copy that and deal 3 damage to this thing. It doesn't do it. In my opinion, if it did that, it's a better card. It doesn't do that. It's 5 mana, 3. It could be really good. It could be a 5 mana, I've had it in my deck and not ever had, I've just sat there and been like, okay, well, I can make it a 1-1 if I want with Wind Fury. That's fantastic.
You would never play it as a 3-3. You would only play it if they drop something big.
You can't play it as a 3-3.
Oh no! Well, if there's nothing else on the board,
if there's absolutely nothing on the board, and that includes your own minions, you can play it, and it will come out as the Faceless Manipulator 3-3.
Yep. I'm less enthused. It falls into that category of cards that I think are not it's not an epic in my opinion.
Okay.
It's meh.
So here's my thoughts on it. It's so situational, and can be only good if you're going for a very gimmicky deck, such as Miracle Rogue, aka you get a give me a quest adventurer, up to 2020 or something ridiculous, or let's say 1010, and then just faceless it, because then basically they need 2 bouts of removal to take out both of them. That's the only thing I think it's good for, avoiding and removal.
Here's
I'm a
a question
sucker for
that I
gimmicky
have.
decks, though.
I'm not actually 100% sure on this. Can you Faceless Manipulator a stealthed minion?
Why couldn't you?
I don't believe you.
You're
I
not
don't
dealing
believe you can
damage
target
to it, right?
No, you
Because
can't
you can't
target
even
or
target
attack
those
it.
cards.
So no,
I don't think
believe
you can. No.
See, but what gets me about stealth minions is they still take AoE damage.
Yeah, that's because
That
you're not
makes sense,
targeting
though.
it. You don't target that to do that. You just do damage to everything.
Right.
It's the same
I
way
hate that,
if you
though.
think in WoW. If you think in WoW, if I'm stealthed in an area, you can't direct damage me, but if you start AoEing, you can still damage me. So it makes 100% sense.
Yeah. That was exactly how I used to find stealth rogues
I
as
guess
a
it
mage
just kills
in
my
vanilla.
it kills my whole setup sometimes with my priest deck.
Yeah, so you're just bitter. Okay.
I try to keep one out there for insurance, and it gets killed before I can stack my stuff onto it.
Yeah, I don't know. Does anyone else think that this is an insane card that you're like, oh my god, I got an epic? It's that.
I don't
It's
think
so
I
cool.
don't think
a
it's
fun
insane.
card.
It's definitely fun, and yeah, it's situational. It can turn the tide. Like you said, it's not gonna happen often. But what was it? 73-73 Senjin warrior,
Yeah,
whatever.
Berserker
I think it was in
thing,
that
yeah.
video. Berserker, Senjin Berserker. Yeah, it was a taunt 73-73. So if all of a sudden they mind control this thing, they buff it up, right, and they're about to kill you with it, you're gonna die next turn. That is your perfect way to counter it. Yeah, it's situational, but I like it for what it is. It's not something I would throw into every deck that I own, but it serves its purpose. It has its place.
Yeah. Do you take it in a draft? Depending. I mean, there's much
it
better
depends
rares,
on
I guess.
what I have.
Yeah.
If I don't get a lot of taunt cards, for example, in draft, I might take that so I can copy an opponent's taunt card. That's how I get around not having certain types of cards that I want.
I would just be disappointed. I'm like, yeah, epics. Aw, that's the best one. Damn it.
I think the best use of the card would be endgame. You play some weird legendary like Rag, and then you play Rag, and then you faceless it, and then you have 2 Rags. Or what happens if you faceless Endora's Damu? Does the turn become even shorter?
No, I
That'd be
don't think so.
interesting.
I would doubt it.
5-second turns, go. But
All right.
it's a weird.
So how do you guys like the Cracker Pack thing? I think it's good. I don't know.
I like it. I'd like to do that segment again.
Okay, we can try it again. All right. What else we got for Hearthstone? Tournament draft stuff. So basically, me and Squishy were talking, and we said, we like the arena. I know Zista loves the arena.
I spent $50 on the arena alone so far.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got sucked
So-
in as well.
We were debating like we thought like I think we've also had this talk that we'd kind of want like maybe some more different or more gameplay modes, basically, like something else to do. And we came up with this idea of like maybe a tournament draft, very similar to the way that that Magic does their stuff online, where you do you basically queue in like you would for a dungeon queue. When you get 8 people, 12, whatever the number be, 10, 12, 8, whatever, and you say, okay, you guys start a tournament. You end up with basically a bracket tournament, and you do best of 3, and you draft somehow. Like it could be you could do constructed as well. I mean, that would work. But what I would be really excited for was basically morphing, like taking a semi-arena and making it this as well.
Yeah, I think if they were to do something like that, it would have to be a little more balanced than the current system. They need to do, if somebody is getting a legendary, everybody has to get a legendary. They'd have to pair it some way like that, because you can get a legendary that just completely turns the game around. What was, I think it was Squishy who had mentioned to me, some guy got Hogger he was going against, and then used that, I forget what the name of the minion is. I own it, actually. I have a gold version of it I got in a pack, that stealths another minion. And Hogger sat there stealth the entire time, just creating 2/2 taunts indefinitely. Like, that is ridiculously overpowered. So if you end up with something like that, you need to have the same kind of pool. You need to have, if one person's going to get a legendary, everybody has to be able, not necessarily the same legendaries, but they have to choose from the same pool.
I disagree.
I disagree completely. Yeah.
So I think I don't disagree all the way. If something needs to be done about the arena system a little closer together, but if it's going the way of the MTG's draft system directly, then I think it's fine.
Yeah,
Because
if it goes very
you
similar,
just
to that,
happen to
that's
get
good.
one, and then you just take the one you want, because there could be really good cards in there. You take the one you want, pass it on.
Yeah,
So-
if that's the way it works. If it's like, if there's 8 people, right? Everyone gets their 8-person pack, their 8-card pack. So you take a card, and then the next person just sees what's left. So you
7
have the
cards,
opportunity, so they get 7 cards the next time. So you have the opportunity to take the best card. Yes, everyone's cards are going to get worse the longer it goes. I don't think it needs to be a carbon copy of the Magic the Gathering tournament system, but I think obviously Magic's onto something with that, because I think that's where they make most of their money on, and I think Blizzard could go that way. I mean, it would be cool too if you could just queue as a group, right? Like, how cool would it be for all of us to go, hey, we're all going to enter a tournament. Let's just group up, enter a tournament, and do an 8-person, best of 3. That'd be cool. I would love to do that. That would give like group play to this, which would be pretty awesome.
I know me and Squishy 2 weeks ago, we actually were in a tournament. We both got eliminated on the first round. And then I know Jaffnet had some internal one going with Gamebreaker, which I know they kind of had some fun with.
I'm still going on it. Where it's very slow going of a tournament.
Busy, right?
It's hey, are you available? No, I'm working. Come back to me in 2 days.
Yeah,
Who's actually still in that tournament? Who do we have left? Has Gary been eliminated yet?
I killed Gary, so yes.
Ooh.
so just like in our Worms game. Oh no, wait, the opposite of our Worms games. Gary kills,
Yeah.
or Shaftnik kills Gary.
Yep.
Oh my God, we need to play
I have
Worms
a worm
again.
named Mike Shaftnet. He's got one named Gary Gannon, and we make a rule whenever we play Worms that
It was random.
no
by the
other
way.
worms can kill those two. They have to go for each other, and then once one of them dies, then it's free for all after that.
Yeah, it wasn't even
Yeah.
planned, but it was awesome.
Speaking of worms, that needs to happen again soon.
We
If you haven't seen it,
won Clan Wars, and that was it.
if anyone's not seen it, please go watch The Softest Miracle. Please. I don't...
Yeah,
Squish
it's a highlight of my Twitch page.
Yeah,
But
it's good.
Yeah, I kind of agree. Like just going into arena with your friends, just the current arena system. Just everybody picks from 3. He gets to this somewhat random deck that has crap cards in it, and then you just play. You got that card, you lucky, or you chose the angry chicken. You're a weird.
Yeah, yeah, and like you don't always win with the best card, so that's
Right.
the thing. All right, so we're gonna skip some stuff because we are going long. We'll just go one more. We'll hit Diablo before we're done for the night. Basically, they got the new expansion coming out. We wanted to hit on Nephilim Trials a little bit. That's the big one that we didn't really cover last week when they announced it. The other stuff we kind of covered most of what happened. Zista, I don't know if you have this up, but did you want to give us a little bit of an overview of the Nephilim Trials?
The Nephilim Trials they're going to be portals that are located around the world. So there's not you don't just go and be like, I'm going to do the Nephilim Trials. It's something that spawns. It's from the way it seems to me is it spawns randomly. You don't know where these portals are going to spawn, and they're trials as if they were set up by the Nephilim themselves to test each other in battle. And what they are is they're just waves of monsters that come in with increasing difficulty, and you keep going, and the longer you go, the bigger your reward is.
It's like the Proving Grounds Endless one.
I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm cool with that. Anyone, do you guys, Schaffner or Ashley, do you guys play Diablo at all? Do you get much of a chance to play it?
Oh my god, in
Forever.
months.
Since
It's been
era
a very long
27?
time.
37?
That's kind of where we were at like 2 weeks ago, actually, to be completely honest.
But see,
And
I mean,
then-
here's the thing. Honestly, like, I don't care. I like. It sounds everything that I've seen about Reaper of Souls looks really fun and really awesome. But I've been burned too hard by it. I got so sick of the repetitive, mundane nature that was Diablo 3 when it launched. As excited as I am about Reaper of Souls, I just don't care enough to try it. I don't.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Right now for me, unless something really comes out, I'm kind of gonna probably end up glancing over it.
I kind of understand where people come from when they say that. I also am kind of the mindset that, do you really remember Diablo 2? Because it was very repetitive. There was PvP, so that's the big thing that people say. Well, I love PvP, and I'm like, I never did that, so I don't know.
I preferred Diablo 1 to all of them.
I can't agree with that at all. You couldn't even run. That was the worst. It was walk everywhere.
I believe the one in the Hellfire expansion. I'm almost positive you could.
Maybe it wasn't. It was kind of an
I
unofficial
played a
thing
lot of the
anyways.
Hellfire expansion. I played that more obviously than I played Diablo. So
We went back. Especially me and Squishy have actually gone back and played a lot. And Luke in chat here, Kiggles has also done a lot of the stuff with us. We've gone back and played, and playing by yourself still not that exciting. Playing with 4 people and just ramping up the difficulty to depending on where you are, it's kind of fun. It's kind of entertaining just to be like, oh god, these dudes are pooping on me. This sucks, and you're running around, and you manage to kill it. I don't know. It's something about it where they made it where it's not like Inferno is not just like too hard immediately. Like they gave you steps to kind of like wean yourself into it.
Right.
No,
and
good.
I was gonna say that's where I got the 2 boss idea from, because one of the recent patches they added the Inferno Machine, which basically pits 2 of the act bosses together, and there were some easy combos, and there was one freaking ridiculous hard combo, and I thought that'd be interesting in Warcraft, but
that was actually a ton of fun. Me, you, Luke, and Lactarded were actually went and did that Inferno Machine, right?
yeah.
And people were Coltrane was in here in Mumble and talking to us, and he was like, "What are they raiding?" Because we were running around, we're like, "Oh God, taunt, take him away! Like pull that guy over there!" And I'm like, "I'm trying, I don't have taunt." Like it was actually. We ended up having to like restart it, right? Because we had put the difficulty up a little too far. Yeah, yeah. Well, they all died, and I was trying to solo it after it had enraged.
God. Jeez.
Yeah.
But
What he's saying is he wishes you were dead.
Yeah. No.
But
I don't know.
the new
Diablo's
expansion,
gotten more.
the big thing is it's going to reset the economy, which is pretty bad right now for the Diablo 3. AKA, you're going to be able to make real money again in the real money auction house. Pay for the WoW
That's
sub.
good.
Pay for Hearthstone packs. Pay for Hearthstone arenas. So definitely getting ready for that, but it's just looking pretty good, and I like mindless grinding while listening to music and talking to friends. So
now I know the Nephilim Trials, they're going to be part of the new adventure game mode, which includes loot runs, exploration, and bounties. But I'm almost positive that they said these modes are going to carry over. Even if you don't buy the expansion, they're going to be available to you. So does that actually include the Nephilim Trials as well?
Probably.
Not 100% sure on that.
Probably, yeah. It'd probably be the
Level
equivalent of a
60
patch.
gear or
as well,
something,
yeah.
so
Right.
it'd be worth anything.
Yeah.
That'd
Yep.
be my understanding of it.
All right.
So,
well,
real quick, Shafnit, would you have even played Diablo 3 if it wasn't for the Blizzard annual pass that they did? Would you have even bought it?
Yes, just because of the PvP that I played at BlizzCon, and ironically, that's not in there. That's what sold me on it. I'm not even kidding, because growing up, I never had Diablo 1 and 2. Someone meant, I think it was Sophie said, that's what Diablo 2 was. I didn't ever own Diablo 2 or 1. I always was at a friend's house and played it, so I never got to experience what it was and play it on its own. I got to play it occasionally. I was like, oh, this is fun, but I never understood how repetitive it got.
it's a very mindless game, yeah.
PvP at BlizzCon is what sold me on this game's going to be awesome. I want to play it, and it didn't come. And then, like I said, it kind of burned me, and that's. And it didn't burn me to be like, what, screw this game. I'm never going to play it. But like, I don't know.
You know,
It's like, I'm not. It's to me, it's not worth investing for the experience that I played. It wasn't. Yeah. It wasn't enough for me. I played it probably for about a month, and I was like, okay, I get it. I'm bored. I'm moving on.
I played it for even less. I played 2 weeks of it.
So if they did, well, I played it a lot, but I liked the mindless, do other things, kind of keep doing the repeat and get the grind of it. It's one of the few grindy games that I really enjoy. However, if they actually released PvP into it before this, would you think about? I imagine if they had said, if they say, you know what, here's the PvP, it's finally here, you'd go at least try it before the expansion came out and give it a try.
I think if they do throw the PvP in with the expansion at this point, it needs to be something that the base game gets as well. Without it, otherwise there's going to be a big uproar.
I imagine it would. I don't see why they wouldn't. But
I
think you're right.
Was the PvP at BlizzCon for those of us that didn't get a chance to play it?
Polished enough. I mean, it wasn't balanced by any means. It wasn't great, but it was enough of a fun experience that it was just like it felt like WoW Arenas. And I didn't know what I was doing at the time. I was playing a barbarian. I didn't know any of the abilities, but like it was fun to like run around and use my chains to like grab someone and like pull them in, and then like just have everybody start beating. It was exciting. It brought enough life to the game that it made you want to learn how to play it for more than just the repetitive grind, but for the advantage skill of like, oh my gosh, okay, I'm getting better. Like the same thing is why it's fun to play League of Legends. You get better, you start doing fun plays as a team, and it made it fun. But I'm not into Diablo to play for the repetitive grind.
I agree. I was going to actually compare it to League of Legends, where it would be almost a flexible-natured League of Legends, where you're like, all right, I'm going up against a demon hunter. That means he's, these handful of things. He's probably of these builds, as opposed to League, where you're like, oh, there's Nami. I know what she is. There's Aatrox. I know what that is. There's Garen. I know what that is. And but with this, you'd kind of be like, okay, there's this, but he may be any of these particular. I could see how that would be a lot of fun. I'm not sure why they don't think it'll ever be balanced. I think when you do PvP, the challenge of it is constantly tweaking things to always have some sort of a balance, never letting someone be completely overpowered the best you can. I don't know.
Balance, when you get into that kind of stuff, it's very tricky. And I know we had mentioned even, I think it was yesterday in Mumble, where we were talking about Hearthstone, how they could have done some other stuff with mana, where they could have gave the classes mana, rage, energy as a secondary cost to cards to give some variety and flavor. But as I sat there and started thinking about that, balancing something like that would be insane. And like, I know Magic has done it well, but you get cards like, you have the Druid now. Do you give the Druid energy, rage, mana? Which one do you give him? If you give him mana, different, then all his swipe stuff seems weird and out of place because he does that. Do you give the Druid some mechanic where he can swap between them? And then that turns, you can only play certain cards, certain hand. The balance on that seems really weird.
Yeah. Well, right now the Druid is probably the best class in the game, so they really need to fix something. I don't want to get into that right now. Yeah. Because that'll be another hour-long segment. All right, so I think that's it. Anyone have anything they want to? Anyone want to talk about anything before we go? That's all she
That's
wrote.
all she wrote.
Shafna needs to get angry one more time, I think.
One more time.
Oh my god.
No,
Plenty
it's
of
super
ti-
loud.
plenty of time for that on After Dark.
Yeah.
And have
Oh
people
my
tweet
God.
suggestions in for whatever competition you're
oh,
having.
right. I think that'll be entertaining.
I don't know. I think Shafnet chickened out already before it even started, so.
You don't want to wear a dress at BlizzCon. We'll just leave it at that.
You might.
I'm already confident enough that I'm not going to lose, so I'm not too worried.
Wow.
Like I said, here's the thing. I don't mind the idea of it, but the problem is if I'm holding these cards in my hand, like, hey Blizzard, give me an item. That's my best card. I can't play that card for no other reason. So,
We could have you enter the Blizzard costume contest as like
Yeah.
one of the sexy females. You could go as Sylvanas Windrunner.
in a yellow dress.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yellow
Ashley,
dress.
can you make that cosplay for him?
So you're right on that.
Yellow.
You're right on that.
All right.
Let's see. We'll get some people tweeting to us. See if anybody can come up with something interesting. Maybe it doesn't have to be the yellow dress, but see something that you might want to see me and Shafton have some kind of competition for some kind of BlizzCon bounty. We'll see what we come up with.
Yeah, BlizzCon,
BlizzCon
bounty.
bounty. I will let you all
Big
buy me
BB.
drinks. All right. So, did you two wanna? Do you wanna tell anywhere on the internet, people on the internet, where they can find you? Jesus, I can't speak anymore.
Us?
Yes. Yeah,
well, you
the
said
two.
you two.
The
Like,
two.
there's four of it. There's five of us here, so.
I'm getting to the point where I'm exhausted. The two in one box. The 2 for 1.
There's 6 of us here. One's just not visible.
Yeah, I mean, catch me on After Dark Tuesdays at 9 p.m. live call-in show. You guys can call and ask whatever you want. Legendary, that goes up every Thursday at 8 p.m. That goes live, as well as Waypoint League and World of Warcraft as well, going up on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So check me out.
There was not
All
a
the
lot
things.
of bouncing from you on this show. What's up with that?
Everybody's complaining about it. I don't get it. Why you bounce so much? I'm like, I'm not fucking bouncing.
It's because
There's the rage.
There it is.
Get off my lawn!
I nicknamed you Tigger because I think you bounce more than him.
Oh, man. But,
Ashley, did you wanna? Do people? You want the people internet to find you?
I reach out on Twitter, Ashley Cyanide X. I don't know.
All right.
If it's about life.
The rage. The rage.
You can find her on League of Legends getting mad at Shafnet every so often.
Yeah,
true.
that ended.
Well, that's done.
Like that.
Oh, that's awesome. All right, Indy, where can the people of the internet find you?
On Twitch and Twitter, both Indy Garona, and I'm going to be actually picking up on the YouTube videos very soon. As soon as
Oh,
the patch
yeah.
drops, some more Priesty stuff coming out, so look out for that.
Any fanfic stuff?
I actually finished my first book, so that's out there.
Woo. Awesome.
It's all done.
Sweet.
Yep.
I think we have a link to that on the website, right?
There is a link on the website. If you like
Oh,
lemons,
yeah.
I guess go read it and think about how much of a perv the writer is. That's it.
I'll
yeah.
make lemonade with those lemons instead.
All right, Squishy, you're up.
So you can find me on Twitter and Twitch at Squishy down there. Also, still putting out the raid guides, which just waiting for some footage on live servers since we're so close anyways. But getting some good feedback on them and just gonna make them better.
All right. Zista, you and your fancy new sweatshirt. Where can people find you at?
You can find me at Zista with an underscore on Twitter. You can get me on twitch.tv/Zista, where this Tuesday I'll be doing a 24-hour stream of Kingdom Hearts at 1.5 HD mix, which comes out. Yeah.
All the 24-hour live streams. You want to do 48 more hours?
No. That was
You don't want to
brutal,
do?
by the way. 48 hours.
48
stream,
hours?
I think there was, what, half an hour of sleep involved in
You
that?
need more.
I
You
think,
need more.
yeah.
Like the next time you
Oh.
actually plan that. I told you, you take a train ride to Philly. I'll haul up
If
there.
we
You
do-
want me on a
if-
train
Yes,
after all this? Oh my
a
god.
train before the 48-hour live stream.
If we do it again, we're gonna come up with a better rotation. As for me, At The Real Sophist. I can't point at my own camera. There it is. At The Real Sophist. Twitch TV/The Real Sophist. I stream a little bit more now. If I don't have to leave in the middle of my streams, that's the best.
You're actually doing arena today for Hearthstone.
I did. Yeah, I did, and I did well until I had to leave.
I was gonna tune in, but I was packing up my computer to come back home, so I was not able to watch it, unfortunately.
Yeah, it actually went well. Aside from that, come check out the whole podcast at the website. It's www.thehxc.com. Everything's there. We got these podcasts, we got Indies Fanfic, we have Squishy's raid guides. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week. Peace.